Hi ho, 6th grade. We're into week 3. So this is actually a real easy week for you guys because we're coming to the end of like our learning units, and we're stretching out this Newton's laws of motion, and we're getting to the point soon where we're going to have an entire week of PBL, project-based learning, where you're literally going to have to build a race car by only using a balloon as the power source. So not going into anything with that. We have to build on it. We have to continue to learn what's behind how that functions and how it helps you actually think about what's the best thing. Now, I know some of you have already built derby cars and everything. Hold it to yourself, okay? Don't give out clues in anything, all right? So this is all, it's going to be like, a contest and everything. So this is going to be a short video this week, which is fine with me. Okay, so really quick, just reviewing. We're still into Star Wars training here with using the force. Remember, the force is a change in motion. So position is where something starts, motion is the movement, and force is the actual change, making the change happen. So remember, they can actually move objects, but also the force involves changing your mindset and their thinking and everything, because you're causing like a reaction to happen. So what we haven't done is review what are the forces. We have been focused here and there throughout the school year on these, but I am right now going to make sure you have that list. So what are the forces? What are the different ways that movement can actually happen? No, we're not talking Star Wars force here. We are talking like actual evidence in our everyday world. If you actually discover how the force works, please let me know, because that would be really cool to use in science class. Okay, so here's your list. Push, pull. These are ones you've been learning literally since kindergarten. So pull is like come towards you, push is push away. Bye, Jonah. Bye, Jonah. The next one is friction. Okay, that usually involves, the best way to put it is friction is like what's going on here. Okay, it's the energy from one surface to the next, trying to stick those things together. The best example I can give you is when a car is driving, as the wheel's moving, it's causing movements, but it's like there's causing friction between the road and the the tire moving. That's friction because it's the road is keeping the car on the ground. Even though gravity's pushing down, it's constantly letting it move forward because that's a force. It's moving it with the edge. If you have another way to explain it, email me, let me know, so then that way I can actually put it out there on the lesson plans. That would be great. Gravity, discovered by the falling of an apple, is so the story goes. Remember, gravity is pushing us down constantly. We can't go against gravity, but that's what's going to, whatever comes up, whatever goes up must come down. It's the way it works. One that we learned 2 weeks ago, actually, was it last week? Yeah, something like that. Acceleration is actually a force. It's the changing of motion and the constant speeding up or slowing down. And the last one, you guys, a lot of you came up with some really clever ways to show this in your vocabulary, and I loved them. Inertia is basically staying put until something moves it. So remember my example? Mom and Dad say get out of bed, and you go, oh, but the law of inertia. It's like it requires a lot of force to move. The bigger, the more mass there is, the lot more force you have to put into it. So, all right. Oh, acceleration. If you want to add that in, how much speed changes in a certain amount of time. All right, that's another way to put it. So these are your 6 different forces. There are more, but these are the 6 we're going to focus on. Push, pull, friction, gravity, acceleration, and inertia. All right, so you want to have these in the back of your head. What are these forces? These forces are what either help movement or they hinder movement. It just depends on what's going on. But you need one of these form of forces and actually to get, movement going. The next thing is quick review of the 3 laws of motion. So, I really don't need notes for this one, but remember that law number 1 states an object in motion will remain in motion And an object at rest will remain at rest unless there is net force acting on the object. Remember, net force is like the pushing and pulling back and forward. So you can have it, like I'm stuck here all of a sudden. Corbin had a great example. A net force is literally like a plane coming in, and then there's a net that stops it, like from moving forward. Like literally that's net force. Like you're forcing it to go, but then something stops it. That's net force. So kudos to you, Corbin, for pointing that out, because I'm like, that's a great example. So law number 1, you got to put the thing in motion or it's going to stay there. It's probably the best way to put it. And it will keep going until something stops it, literally. So if you kick a soccer ball and a tree's right there, it could possibly stop it, or you could hit somebody's head or something. So heaven forbid that happens. Law number 2, the acceleration of an object is equal to the net force, remember the plane, of an object divided by the mass of the subject. So basically, the best way to put this is the more mass, the more force you have to do it. Okay? There is a calculation for it. We use newtons, so not neurons. I just did 7th grade. We use newtons to measure how much force. Very important. It's just an N. Okay? Or backwards. I don't know which way would be better for you guys. All right? So you want to write that down in your notes actually right now. Last one, law 3. Forces act in pairs, okay? So if something happens, something else is going to happen, whatever it is. For every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction, okay? So you guys came up with some really clever ones. I love the one where it's like if you're coming off of a boat trying to get on the dock, you know how the boat's always moving or bobbing? Well, if you're going this way onto the dock, the boat's going to push off, or it's going to go up and down. It's usually the opposite. But I'm like, how clever is that? So, and when you get on a boat, you're going down, so the boat's going to go up. So it's constant, like, there is an opposite reaction. But there's always something that they're always acting in pairs no matter what. They're either going to do what the cue ball does. That's the white one. Thanks. Correction on that one. And then the 8 ball. So if the cue ball, the white one, hits the 8 ball, that force, energy, is transferred so that this ball now moves. This one might still move just a little, but that was that penny experiment. When you flicked it with a stack of pennies and you moved that bottom one, that was that law number 3 actually acting out. So, we have our 6 forces, 3 laws of motion, all coming together. All right. So this week, what your homework is, that's all that we're focused on right now, is just keep diving in deeper. I want you guys, for your homework, you're going to go to your enrichment activities. I've uploaded 4 of them. You're going to pick 2 to do this week for your homework. There is no vocabulary because we've already learned the vocabulary from the last week or 2. So you're going to do two enrichment activities. 1 has to be electronic, okay? So that means either watch a video or play a game, all right? So from that, I will not accept a picture as proof. I want a well-written paragraph, 5 to 8 sentences, explaining how this activity helped you understand motion, what did you learn from it, new, old, how did it reinforce. You know, it's just something you can get back to me about how this enrichment activity helped you dive deeper into understanding the laws of motion. My headband keeps coming up. Girls understand that. Your second one, okay, has to be an actual worksheet enrichment. So that's something where you're going to print it off, or you could copy it and put it on regular paper. That's fine. But it's actually something you are working on to understand the laws of motion. What are your choices? Just 2. There's either a vocabulary worksheet where you get the words at the bottom and you just match them to the definition, or you can do a crossword puzzle. So same thing. You have the words. You pick which one you want to do, print it off, and then send me a copy of it. And then your electronic is either Jeopardy, that you can play with a family member, or there is PBS Kids that has a lot of interactive games for motion and everything. All right? So, breaking this down. What is required of you this week? 1, take notes from this video. 2, your enrichment homework activities. So you must pick 2. Remember, 1 electronic and 1 worksheet printed source. 3, the last thing I'm adding is you have a quiz this week, and that is over force and Newton's 3 laws. So everything we've learned this last 3 weeks is on this quiz. So you go to the Thursday lesson plans. It has a link directly to the website. You put in your code, put your name down as your user name. So I know. Take the quiz and you just press enter, finish, and it sends it to me automatically. You don't need to report anything. You don't need to take a picture, anything like that. It's just instantly to me. So you got 2 enrichment activities for me and quiz. So there's 3 things that are due to me by Friday. And each interactive enrichment activity will be each worth a grade. Just to give you a heads up. Okay? So that's it. That's all I have for you guys. It's getting a little easier for you. Next week, we're going to go into actually simple machines and inclined planes and everything so that you can keep building on how those little mechanisms or ways you build your machine, your car, and the different kinds of levels and inclined planes can affect how you design your car. And then after that, we're actually going to be building our cars from April 20th to 24th. So in 2 weeks, we're building our cars. So start thinking about what is it you're going to do. That's it. Okay. 6th grade, I miss you. Can't wait to see you guys again. And if you have any questions, please email me, text me, have your parents text me. I can do a Zoom call, whatever. All right. Bye.